Okay, good afternoon and welcome to Yeshiva YouTube. Iyun with Benzion. Today's daf is Nazir daf Lamed Vav, number 36. A couple days ago I mentioned that the Mishnah on Lamed Dal Lamed Beis quotes Rabbi Akiva, who the halacha is like, Afilu shara pita bayayin. A Nazir, he can't drink, normally if he drinks wine, it has to be a revius, which is about 3 ounces, 3 kazesa. However, if he, according to the article's explanation, shara pita bayayin, he dips his bread into wine. So even a kazayas, even 1 ounce, right? You're chayav for, you get malchus for. Now, it's not clear exactly what the explanation is. Does it mean that it expanded an extra kazayas? So seemingly from today's Gemara, it seems hetem mitzaref le'isur is that the bread together with the wine, it seems to be there has to be a majority of the wine. You ate a small piece of bread, you dipped in wine, right? So there was more than 51% of the kazayas that you're eating. It's a piece of bread that's a kazayas, but it's only a kazayas together with the 51% of wine, right? So you dipped it heavily in the wine. There's a lot of liquid over there. So there's 0.51 ounces of wine, and there's 0.49, kazayas of bread. So it's heter mitzaref le'isur. It's the only case we find that heter is mitzaref le'isur. The bread which is heter, the bread which is mutter, Nazir's allowed to have bread, joins together with the wine to make a kazayas, and you're chayav and achila for the Nazir eating it. Why is that true? Because it says mishras, called mishras enough. It doesn't just say eating grapes. Anything which you dip your grapes in, which even includes the bread. The bread would join together with the wine in order to make it usher. Now, my explanation a couple of days ago, shara pita b'yayin doesn't make any sense to me because I'm like, who dips bread in wine? Maybe they used to do that, but no one does that anymore. So, shara pita b'yayin, I explained to mean that when you eating bread, sometimes when bread by itself, you need something to, help not only digest the bread in your stomach, but also to make it go down smoother. It's very dry bread to make it go down smoother your esophagus. So you want to drink lishrot. The post can use it when it talks about drinking during a meal to help the food digest in your stomach. So you're drinking the wine to help the bread digest. So that's what it means. It's not that the chiddush of Rabbi Akiva is not that you're chayav for eating the bread. It's for the 1 ounce of wine that you're drinking to help the bread go down. So the chiddush of Rabbi Akiva, what's a chiddush of Rabbi Akiva? Chiddush of Akiva is normally when you drink wine, it has to be the shear is revius, 3 ounces. When you're using it to digest bread, so that's called achila. It's not called shtia. It's not drinking anymore. It's part of your achila. You're helping the food go down. So therefore, the shear is 1 ounce, like kazayas. That's a chiddush of Rabbi Akiva. Now our Gemara says, how do you fit that into the Gemara today, where the Gemara says it starts off lam and ham based on the bottom. Amri Abahu, Amri Yochanan, Kol Chushin Torah, Ein Heter Mitzvah L'Isra, Chus Mitzvah Nazir Shrei Amri Torah Mishra, based on Rabbi Akiva in the Mishnah, apparently. Right? The Torah's weird usage of the word mishras, dipping it in, tells me that heter mitzaref le'isur. Seemingly, the heter, which is the bread, is mitzaref le'isur. It combines with the isur to form the shear. Now, according to what I'm saying, the bread has nothing to do with it. The heter is nothing to do with it, right? The bread is not combining the isur, and the Gemara compares it to burning, chametz as a korban mincha on the mizbeach. It joins together with the sorah. You have 51% chametz and 49% matzah and korban mincha. You'd violate the isser of burning sorah on the mizbeach because heter mitzaref le'isser. Ziri says, right, and that chorah means that actual heter, the heter which is a mincha is kosher from matzah, not from chametz is a problem. Sorah is a problem. So there, obviously, it means that real heter. So according to my explanation, it's not heter at all. The bread is not doing the isser, but in truth, it is doing something, because by eating the bread and drinking the wine to digest the bread, so the heter is mitzaref l'isser in a different way, in that it lowers the requirement. Instead of a revius you have to drink when you normally drink wine, since it's part of achila, so therefore the shear is only a kazayas of drinking wine. So it's a different way of understanding heter mitzaref l'isser than, for example, the case of truma the Gemara talks about, or the case of chametz and burning chametz on the mizbeach, or eating chametz on Pesach. There it really is majority. When you have, right, a piece of matzah and half of it is 51% is chametz and 49% is matzah, so the kazayas joins together with kazayas. The actual heter of matzah joins together because it's one unit of achila. You go after the majority. So here also you have to explain Heter Mitzaref L'Isser is a little different according to my explanation. It just means that it lowers the shear, the requirement. Now, the reason is let me just explain this. We're learning Hilchos Brachos by Iker V'Tafel over here. We learned yesterday Hilchos Reish Shud Beis and Shulchan Aruch Yomi. Iker V'Tafel. What is the Iker and Tafel when you're eating bread and you're digesting it with wine? If you're digesting it with water, obviously the main part is the bread. If you're digesting it with wine is high class. You even make a bar perakaf and they're a bread meal. So plain bread is pretty tasteless, right? The correct bracha to make when you're drinking wine to help the bread digest is probably bar perakaf. And the Iker, right? Just like we said, Heter Mitzaref L'Isser, when you have chametz and matzah to form a kazai, Heter Mitzaref L'Isser. It's proven from the Gemara on Lamed Vav and Aleph on 36a. The top, the Gemara is clear. It makes clear that when Heter Mitzaref L'Isser, it has to be that the majority is truma, or the majority is true, 51% truma, 49% chulor, 51% chametz. So here that's because when you have 51%, that's the ikr, and the other part is the tafel. Here, when you're drinking wine with bread, so the ikr is the wine. The correct bracha to make, you want to make a bracha on the bread. You just want to digest the bread. However, the heter is Mitzaref L'Isser because it's called achila. Since you're doing it to help you digest the food, so therefore, even though the correct bracha, the ikr, Heter Mitzaref L'Isser, the main part has to be the isser, which is the wine. Otherwise, you won't be chayav at all for the kazayas of wine that you drank. It has to be ikr v'tafel. The main part is the wine. You would make a bar paragafen with regular wine. If you weren't a Nazir, you make paragafen. If you're a Nazir, you shouldn't make a bracha because it's an isser to do that. But the correct bracha, if you were not a Nazir, you would make paragafen. It's the main part. The chiddush is Heter Mitzaref L'Isser. It joins together. It's a different shot of Heter Mitzaref L'Isser. It joins together that since even though it's tafel, the bread is tafel to the wine, but it's called achila. So therefore, it joins with the isser to make the shear less from a revius to a gazayas. I think that's the correct explanation according to my understanding. We'll see tomorrow's Gemara where the Gemara continues discussing this and maybe decide what's the correct explanation of Mishras. Hope you enjoyed today's share. See you in the next one.